talking. So call Maria, her show is killer. You won't believe it, darling, there's long-time listeners and first-time callers. They love Maria, that's why they keep saying, and we're gonna get...
Welcome to the Maria Sanchez Show. We are live on KADYTV.com. We're live every day, Monday through Friday from 4 o'clock on. And because we're rewriting the rules of broadcast television and it's internet television, Scott asked a great question. So when does the show end? And we end it when we feel like it. So we don't have to
And we don't feel like it yet.
No, we don't have to answer to anybody. So you know what? We answer to you, the viewers. If you like what you see, you'll let us know by your eyeballs, by your clicks. And other than that, our sponsors, which Xerox has stepped forward, and they are our first founding sponsor, and we are about ready to catch others also to show their faith in what it is that we're doing for the county, by the county, for the county. And so we've dangled this long enough. Proposition 23, Scott Harris, our guest today. What did I call you last time? Our political whiz. So
I can go with that.
Title.
I can go with that. We can run with that for a little bit.
Yes.
Well, let me just read the short version of Prop 23, which is this. It suspends implementation of air pollution control law, which is AB 32, Assembly Bill 32, and we will talk about that, requiring major sources of emissions to report and reduce greenhouse gas emissions that cause global warming until employment drops to until unemployment drops to 5.5% or less for a full year. So basically there's a law, AB 32, that's going into place, and this proposition would stop it from going into place until unemployment dipped to 5.5% for a full year. Now, I don't know of a single economist that thinks that's going to happen in the next few years. So basically what it does is it takes AB 32 and it puts it on the shelf.
Right.
Now, AB 32 was done by a local person, Fran Pavley, and this is the highlight of her career. This would put in place the strongest emission laws and rules in the country, and I believe in the world, but I don't know that to be true, but I can't find anything counter to that. But it absolutely would be the leading edge of laws and restrictions leading to a greener state. The theory is it would encourage green jobs, bring those people to the state of California, and would be a great thing for us. Governor Schwarzenegger has absolutely embraced AB 32. I think it's his legacy piece. He wants to go down, because he's failed in everything else. So I think he wants to go down as the green governor, the guy that had the foresight to push California down the road faster and further than any other state. We don't know that that's going to be true. That's the big debate right now. And so we're hoping to get some answers come Tuesday on this. So what we can talk about, it's interesting. We'll talk about who's for it and who's against it and why in both cases. But the Legislative Analyst's Office, and usually they're pretty good on this thing, they just came out and said there is no definitive predictable net gain or loss. They just can't tell what's going to happen. They don't know if we're going to lose jobs, gain jobs, lose tax revenue, gain tax revenue. They don't know what's going to happen, whether this passes or fails. So they've taken no position, which leaves it kind of wide open so the proponents and opponents can pretty much make whatever claims they want.
Well, I had Fran on my radio program many times while this was going on and in development, and I was always confused about, because she talked about mostly the transport trucks that were in our state were probably going to be affected the most.
It affects, what it really does is it affects manufacturing. It's the emissions issue in manufacturing plants. And, we have historically been an agricultural and manufacturing state. I mean, we have the whole entertainment base, and that's great. But Jack Stewart, who is the president of CMTA, which is California Manufacturing Technology Association, just had an op-ed Sunday in the LA Times on this, saying it is devastating to the state of California. He thinks it'll cost billions of dollars and 1 million manufacturing jobs in the state of California.
If AB 33,
if it fails,
allowed,
yeah. If Prop 23 fails,
okay,
then AB 32 continues.
Right.
If AB 32 continues, the head of the Manufacturing Association, who obviously defends manufacturing jobs, the head of the Manufacturing Association believes it will cost us billions of dollars as a state and 1 million jobs. Now, those who are against it say this will put California ahead of everybody else in the green world, and that has a definite appeal to a lot of people. We're going to lose the manufacturing jobs anyway in the short term to China and whatnot, so let's let go of them now. We could wait for the people to come around and do this on their own, which eventually they will because it's in our best interest, but we could push it further and faster if we legislate it. So we're going to go ahead and legislate it. The proponents of AB 32 believe that it will attract green jobs, brains, companies, businesses to the state of California that aren't currently here. And they like to point out that out-of-state oil companies, two Texas oil companies, have put about 80 to 90% of the money into this Prop 23. So again, that makes it naturally bad because it's the bigs that are putting the money in. So we have
to push it along.
to push it along. So
But correct me if I'm wrong, Scott. This is a redirection of a conversation that once occurred over AB 32.
yes, exactly.
Okay, so
Basically,
we're going back to never mind.
yeah, it can be argued that it's not, but really what it does is it repeals AB 32.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
it's a repeal of AB 32. So AB 32 passed. Fran Pavley got her bill passed. Fran is an extremely liberal legislator, and I'm very proud of it, by the way. And she's very proud of this bill and has traveled all over the country and all over the world trying to get others to take this up. So it is a cause that a lot of people believe in, including our governor, who's a Republican. A lot of businesses, a lot of current businesses, don't believe it's a good idea. But there are a lot of businesses now that do. I mean, for example, I've mentioned Visita, the Economic Development Association. They took no position on this because they have some board members who are more traditional businesses and some are a little greener businesses. So they weren't able, they were kind of a microcosm of the whole state. Businesses that are tending toward green say, yeah, what do we care about manufacturing companies? Let's get some money flowing in. Let's make these restrictions so that our materials, the things that we do, become more valuable in the future. And so that starts to make sense to some green people. So this is a legitimate one, and it's one of the few ones where the business community is split. On almost every bill, you can tell where the business community is going to be, and they'll be aligned with the Republican Party. Here, the business community in the state of California is pretty much split in that the traditional businesses, the manufacturing, kind of the old style brick and mortar, they're all for it. Let's get AB 32 out of here. Let me go back and do business the way I've always done it. Mm-hmm. The newer, greener businesses are saying, no, it's time to move forward. We have got to think beyond the traditional. And
but they tied it into unemployment, which is what makes it sympathetic.
Yes, they did that. But again, that's a red herring. We're not going to get there for a while. We've only been there, I think, 3 times in the last 30 years. They're really shelving this thing. They just didn't want to be able to be accused of shelving it. They want to say, no. We just want to wait until the state is healthy again. Then we can afford this, and then we'll do it. But they know that this isn't going to happen for a long time.
Right,
so,
especially in this day and age.
Especially in this day and age, and especially in this state.
Unless all this green brings in such employment that
yeah, well, that is the theory.
The country.
And let me share, because we've done it every time. The California Chamber has not taken a position on this, and I believe it's for the same reason that Visita hasn't, because their members are split, which rarely happens with the Chamber. Newspapers are 16-2 no. They want to let AB 32 continue. Unions, League of Women Voters, Democrats, Jerry Brown courageously took a stance on this and is a no, and Meg Whitman is a no.
Wow.
This is the one where Meg Whitman is inconsistent with the Republican Party. The Republican Party is a yes. California Manufacturers Association is a yes. Howard Jarvis is a yes. Libertarian Party is a yes. But Meg Whitman is a no.
So she and Jerry Brown, this is the one thing
This is the one they agree on, and the one where she and the Republican Party disagree. Which I think is interesting. And I think what that shows, which is why we asked to save it for last, is why it's so controversial, because it splits the traditional alliances in the state of California. I mean, that's why you don't see the California Chamber taking a position on this, because some of their businesses are green, newer, forward-thinking, and some of the businesses are traditional and manufacturing. They don't want to lose jobs today to maybe get a job tomorrow.
But it seems maybe somewhat consistent with Meg Whitman, because if you think about it, her success in general being from eBay, which was something ahead of the curve.
Yes.
And then so now she's again making that entrepreneurial streak, if you will, that, okay, maybe not in the short term, but in the long term.
And maybe she's right. Maybe it is in the long term in the best interest of the state of California. The counter to that is, can we afford that?
Right.
I understand the value of long-term savings in your household, but if you can't make your house payment, you kind of got to go there first before you can put money into savings.
Right.
So that's the argument, and that's what makes this one so controversial and so difficult to pin down, because again, those traditional alliances that we've talked about on the other 8, without any break in those, are shattered in this one.
Well, it wouldn't be dull ever, would it?
No.
And it's never politics.
No. There's going to be a lot happening come Wednesday morning.
I'm really going to be interested. So we will be live from the Government Center on Tuesday, November 2nd from 8 o'clock on when the polls close. So it'll be interesting to see how things start shaking out in that regard. We have finished the propositions. If you haven't seen them all, we started a discussion with Scott Harris last week with 5 of them. We finished the other 4 today. You're welcome to go back into our archives and see them, and you can review them, and then you can just say, at least I know something more than I knew before. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to speak about Scott's field of expertise, which is in marketing. You're watching the Maria Sanchez Show on KADYTV.com.